You, my friend, are hormonal. We all are. Women, men, boys, and girls, especially those teenage variety, right? Problem is, the hormone at the crux of our hormonal issues is not the one found in the crosshairs of doctors far and wide. The hormone just about all of them miss or flat out ignore until it's too late is insulin. And furthermore, it's when your body and brain become insulin resistant that you are on the express train to chronic disease. But all we seem to do is focus on how fluffy we're getting, how fat we're getting, pooch here, roll there. The problem is so much deeper than that. It's cell deep, all 10 trillion of them deep. That's trillion with a T, just to be clear. Now, every single chronic disease known to women today is fueled by a dysfunctional relationship with insulin. Now, the sciencey term for this dysfunctional relationship is insulin resistance. Have you ever heard this term? No. When I bring this up, most have it, and you're not alone. But we've all heard of insulin, right? We all know a diabetic who has to inject insulin. But what about for you and me? What does insulin have to do with us? One word: everything. And here's why. I'm going to do a little mini crash course. You ready? All right, so insulin, it's the hormone that the pancreas is signaled to release in turn to direct glucose from our food, from our carbohydrates, for immediate use as either energy or to usher off to short or long-term storage. Now, the long-term storage is our body fat. So the amount of insulin released is in direct response to the amount of glucose and a few other oses that are in our food and drink. This is what happens when our cells have a functional, healthy, working relationship with insulin. It speaks, they listen. Now, the relationship takes a reality show turn when we eat excess carbohydrates. This excess eventually leads to more and more insulin in the blood, which is called hyperinsulinemia. And that in turn signals the body to store more energy for a rainy day. Again, insulin drives energy storage by pushing excess energy into fat storage. That's its job. The more insulin present, the stronger that signal. So when insulin is high, you are storing that unusable energy as fat, not burning it, not even one fatty acid. It just doesn't work that way. So after a while, it may take years, the body becomes insulin resistant because it has been marinating in insulin, just as it becomes resistant to any strong, prolonged signal. Now the body has to dampen that signal so that it can protect itself from overload. Think of it like a firewall for the human cell. It is a survival mechanism. She's trying to kill me with the garbage. Shut the system down, girls. I can hear them now. So every cell is stuffed to the hilt. Now the body and brain are merely trying to survive to fight another day in the life of a modern executrepreneur. See, when the body is in harmony with insulin, therefore sensitive to its command, it looks something like this. This is a civil engineer's wet dream. A major metro area superhighway along which the traffic is smooth flowing. Everybody's getting where they need to be on time, in flow. And this is you. So you're styling and profiling. You're singing backup for none other than the ever so handsome John Bon Jovi. Oh yeah, you are living on a prayer. Life is good. The trouble comes when it starts to go awry, when we're embarking on this journey to insulin resistance. What starts as stop and go eventually becomes a multi-car traffic jam as far back as you can see, one in which every entry into that highway, the metabolism highway, is backed up onto the city streets. Horns a honking and middle digits flying. So your body has warned you along the way. And first, she withdrew energy here and there, the old mid-afternoon energy slump. Then, just a little cheeky monkey, she shrunk your clothes. Or did your waistline expand? We all know the answer to that, right? So she started jacking with your cholesterol, raised the LDL, the bad cholesterol. She lowered the LDL, the good kind, And then she sent your triglycerides through the moon, right? Through the moon. So your doc gives you the old stink eye and a talking to. They wrap it up with the here, take this, which is almost always a statin. And you, properly indoctrinated and pretty much scared to death of cholesterol, take that script to your local pharmacy and get it filled. But little do you know, my friend, little do you know, the actual biochemical perfection that is cholesterol and why your super smart body makes upwards of 80% of it itself. Is it on a suicide mission? I think not. So your body is a freaking rocket scientist. She is wise and intelligent beyond our mere mortal ability to understand. Sidebar, please, please, please up your intel on cholesterol. First things first, cholesterol is not out to kill you. It is one of your closest allies, period. Now, a good place to start is with my blog and podcast episode number 30, lovingly titled Cholesterol is Your Enemy and Other Nutritional Nonsense You Should Ignore. Cruise on over to drsamgraber.com/blog and search for cholesterol or the number 30, and it will pop right up. So back to insulin and what's going awry behind the scenes. So your super smart body handles everything you throw at her with grace, with ease, on time, every time. She is a multitasking femme fatale until you done gone too far. And then she needs to correct you with that whole cascade of symptoms I shared earlier, from the energy withdrawal to a fattening up of the midsection and beyond. She's done had it up to here, and you can no longer ignore the fact that you have a problem. You are now insulin resistant. In other words, your cells are flat out ignoring the signals from insulin. And it's giving them because there's just too much. It's ignoring it because there's just too much of it. Noise, 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 too much. Much like husbands develop selective hearing for their wives. Now the cells have selective hearing to insulin, and they're tuning it out. So let me get something clear off the bat. You do not suffer from a drug deficiency. You have a food problem. You cannot drug nor exercise your way out of it. So what can you do about this progressively worsening train wreck that you, along with a growing number of your fellow first worlders, are unknowingly hurling yourselves towards every time you take a bite or sip? First off, you get informed. You find a trusted advisor who can decipher through all the muck, and you dive in. You can start by reading my blog. When you go to my website, drsamgraber.com/blog, search for myth, and you'll find the nutrition myth busting entries. They'll start popping up. I've got several of them on there for you, from why, we were told to eat every 2 to 3 hours, why fat makes us fat, and these are all tongue in cheek because I don't really, I try to make it a little more fun than just your typical nerdy doctor talk. So you must become your own best health advocate. That's a must do, because the better that you understand the inner workings of your body and brain, the better you can care for them.